Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I am throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. Let me know that you're here, or you can just say hi if you're not a subscriber, or if you don't feel like using emotes, you can just say something else. Or here's an option. You don't have to type anything at all. You can just hang out. You don't have to worry about jumping in chat. But we've got Lashbrook and Aristophan and Mr. Hadel are all here. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have all here. But yeah, chatting's always optional. You don't feel like you have to do it. This Hurt My Head is here. Welcome, welcome. This is the intro portion. If you're new to the channel, Poochie's here. Hello, Poochie. Yeah, if you're new to what I'm doing here, hi. This is the intro portion of the stream. Oh, Epic Open World just subscribed with Prime. That's 24 months. So also, hey, that's 2 years. I know that number. Epic Open World, thank you so much for your 2-year support. That's fantastic. But also throw the emotes in the chat to thank Epic Open World for jumping in there with that resub. That is rad. Yeah, so this is the intro portion of the stream if you're new. This is where we let... Look, we're letting people be fashionably late. We're doing the intro. We're checking in. This is also the time where if I goofed somewhere, like let's say I don't have my mic working, happen to give my Prime to a rad dude, like, yeah, well, thank you very much, Epic. I appreciate that. But yeah, let's say I'm like, oh, shit. My settings are weird, or my overhead light isn't on, or I forgot to put my bandana on before the stream started. This is the intro. This is where we can like, ooh, I forgot a tool that I need. Let me go grab that. Or if people are out there like, well, it's 6 o'clock for me, Pat, so I'm running a couple minutes late. I get it. I understand. But yeah, tonight we are working on, look, we're going to work on the Eclipse face, our Extreme Gundam, the Extreme Gundam Type Leos Eclipse face high grade, which is a premium Bandai kit that I pre-ordered all the way back in January and arrived not too long ago. Started working on that. We got that. We've got some of the shoulders done. We will finish the shoulder pieces, then start working on the arms. Very fun. We're going to talk about stuff that's interesting to us. I'll talk about anime in the second hour, as I always do. And am I going to talk about some of the news of the day? I'm sure I will. Is that news of the day specific to some audience and maybe not every member of the audience? Yes, but in broad terms, we can probably relate to it. Also, I don't know if I will be echoey right now. I don't think I will be. I think things are going to be fine, but I do have my bedroom door open, which normally my bedroom door is closed because there are people in the house, and it's 9 p.m. Eastern when I start. The Pat bandana is like the Vinny hat. A stream can't happen without it. Exactly. So Epic Open World, I certainly could stream without a bandana, but especially with the door closed and my computer being right over there on the same table and the light I have, my lighting situation, I sweat. So without the hair, I got to have the bandana. Maybe someday I'll have a different solution. Also, the bandana works very well underneath headphones. Very, I'm not having to put this on over a hat and dealing with anything. Very simple, very easy. But yeah, it is could I wear a headband and get the same effect? Yes. But that's not my style. So I have many bandanas that are all the same. I bought them all at the same time. So I have, I believe, 11 bandanas that I rotate through. They're all the same bandana. If you're ever wondering why I always have the same one, it's not the exact same one. It's just the same style. I'm not sure about you in a headband. Epic Open World, I'm very sure about me in a headband being a thing that isn't going to happen. I'm very sure about that. That's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, okay. I think we've hung out for enough. I'm going to go hit... I'm going to go ahead and retweet my tweet, try to get a few more friends to come in, but already got plenty of cool friends here. Oh, no. It happened. Okay, so before we get into a thing that happened in video game internet, people, in the world of video game internet, Shout out to all my friends out there who are really into the final season of Fruits Basket. We're at the final season of it, and the French Open messed it all up for people again. Um, the French Open is an event that is big enough for Japanese television to disrupt its broadcast of popular anime. Um, in this case, in Fruits Basket case, apparently it just delayed it several hours because, and you're thinking, well, Pat, I watch anime on a streaming service. Well, the streaming services have deals. They can't put content out until it airs. Usually, it's the first run of an episode airs in Japanese TV before you can see it on streaming. In some instances, the show Let's Make a Mug, they actually had to wait 5 days for some reason for the first episode and not the other ones, which was, that happens on occasion. That is rare. But anyway, let's go to the overhead. Working on the Extreme Gundam here. But yeah, one year it was an episode of One Punch Man. Maybe it was One Punch Man season 2, which had started really rough but was getting good. And there was just a week where, because of the French Open, that the show just got delayed a whole week, and it was just it was ready. It just wasn't broadcast in Japanese TV, so we didn't get it on streaming services, and it was a huge bummer. So when I saw that for the Fruits Basket folks out there, I definitely felt for you because that is rough. But that's not why you're here. You are not here to talk about anime delays that you don't know ahead of time, and maybe they put it on the page. Maybe Crunchyroll or Funimation do. Sometimes you got to dig through tweets. You got to look. You're asking the question on Google, and you find a YouTube video that is just text that could have been an article somewhere, but instead someone made it a YouTube video telling you that there was a delay, and you're like, do I have to watch the YouTube video for this? It's just words. You don't even use a robot to make these words. You're not here for that. You're here for model kit building and talking. You're here to watch me hopefully not struggle, to put stickers, gold stickers on this piece of red here. As you can see, I got a lot of gold stickers. So we need 12 on one side, 11 the other, and we got to do it twice. So we'll do that here. Get my X-Acto laid out. You might be here to talk about Nextlander. And if you missed the announcement, because it happened today, and not everyone is always online, Nextlander is a new venture. It is a business venture from the recently departed from Giant Bomb, Alex Navarro, Brad Shoemaker, and Vinny Caravella. Welcome, Vin's Hobby Spot. I don't have alert commands, but yeah. You need to clean the studio after streaming. Okay. Well, enjoy cleaning that cleaning up your studio. But yeah. we're gonna talk a little bit about Nextlander. Because look, did we talk about when our friends, our cool good time friends decided that they were going to leave their job, and we did? What did we say we weren't going to do? We weren't going to speculate about what they did next. We maybe had our feelings. We weren't going to book the territory, which is a wrestling parlance. We weren't going to say well, who should get hired there, and who do you think is going to work there, and do you think that Jeff is going to join the Bombcast because he's still part of the greater family? You think we weren't going to do any of that. We didn't know. We were going to talk through it because it was a big fucking deal, but we weren't going to speculate. But now there's information, and we can present information that we know. There is a new business venture, a new company out there full of people that we like. It was an easy... I realized that my Patreon password was not in my one password on my phone. So while I was out for a walk today, I couldn't join. I had to wait till I got back from my walk because apparently I don't have that information there. So that's good to know. That was good to know. I couldn't log into Patreon until I got home from the walk. So I joined in. Got to support. I tweeted about this, and it's totally true, friends. This is a totally true, silly statement. Very silly of me, but real. Recently, someone that I was supporting on OnlyFans deactivated their OnlyFans because their new full-time job makes them very busy, and they're happy to be doing it, to be busy. So they're looking forward to having this new chapter in their life and not doing their OnlyFans. And I was like, oh, I have some money that I had set aside for that. I know I could support someone else with that. So that justifies the Waypoint Plus payment and the Nextlander payment. So very excited about that. Happy to hear the podcast. Happy to hear there's going to be some Nextlander Waypoint crossover coming for some streaming stuff. That sounds very cool. And yeah. But, we're just going to talk about broad terms. I will mention something that Epic Open World asked about, which is like this sense. Now, this is the thing, right? We're not going to take anything away from anybody when it comes to this, right? Everyone makes the decisions they got to make about where they get their entertainment from, right? You hear Highlander. I understand. The E3 stuff does sound fun. Totally. Aristophan sees Nextlander and you hear Highlander. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? One, I like the name, and two, you just say it until it makes sense. Eventually it loses all meaning, and then it's not a weird thing to say. And that happens very fast, because the youngins might not remember this. They might not remember this, but the Wii is a bad name for a video game console. They said on the stream, Austin came up with the name Nextlander. That sounds like an Austin name, yeah. What are they going to call the next Headlander game? Well, they're going to call it Headlander 2 Nextlander. Because the next Headlander game, I'm lying. That's not true. Also, they're not going to make a Headlander 2. That's rude of me to laugh, but they're also not going to make it a Headlander 2. But that is funny. It did make me think about Headlander. Yes, it made me try to remember what the name of that video game was, because I forgot it was called Headlander, but I knew it's something with Lander in it. But no, I'm super pumped for the three of them to get back to presumably enjoy while having that sort of upstart mentality. Yeah. Rubble fine. Yes. Mark Grizel's Rubble fine. Two heads are better than one. Indeed. No, so I'm putting some stickers on here. Look, it's interesting to wonder and stuff, but okay, so this is the point I was trying to make. I apologize. Yes. No, I agree. It is it's an odd thing to think about where you're like, there's so much content out there. Does it feel weird to add another one? And the answer I'll always go is, it's not weird. Just do what you got to do. I said this on replied to actually Epic Open World asked this on Twitter, and I gave my reply to Epic Open World, which I was happy to do. We mentioned, like, to me, I didn't read a lot of Patrick's writing at Kotaku because I don't check out Kotaku all the time. There are people there that I like, that I think are great, but I wasn't there. I mean, I wasn't reading Kotaku when Chris Kohler was the features editor, a thing they created for him to write features for the website. Chris is one of my best friends in the world, literally my childhood friend. I knew him before I had facial hair. That's how long it's been since I know Chris. I didn't visit Kotaku to read his articles. Every once in a while I would, but I didn't go there every day to see what Chris was up to. So yeah, I didn't check out Patrick on that. I didn't check out Patrick on that not really EGM thing. I don't go to Fanbyte that often to see what Danielle's up to. Danielle Riendo is a top tier person. Just the greatest. I don't check out Fanbyte. There's a lot of fucking internet out there, and you pick your battles and you pick your choices. So, like, you know, it is a thing of like, I'm sure there are people who, Abby, let's just say Abby right now. We can talk about Abby right now. Abby starts doing streams. When you first start doing streams, it's like whatever the schedule is, right? And I can't put words in her mouth, right? But I wonder, does she wonder, do I stream? Do I stream the most convenient times for me, but make sure I don't stream when this is happening, or make sure I don't stream when that's happening, because I used to work there, and that's when people watch this, and oh well, I can't do with this because this is here, and it's like at a certain point you just have to go, whatever, and just do what you need to do, right? So like, you can watch Giant Bomb coverage, you can watch Waypoint coverage of E3. Just watch what you want to watch. You can watch Kind of Funny. Loading Ready Run sometimes watches press conferences, and they always have the people who care about gaming news watching that. I like seeing what Beej and Heather Derry think of the Nintendo showcases, because they are hardcore, longtime Nintendo fans, and it's interesting to hear their perspective. So, like, I often will tune into them. Yes, today GB screamed Guilty Gear while Nextlander's stream was happening. Yes, and look, so loyalty in quotation, I'm going to put quotation marks. Loyalty is weird. We've talked about this kind of stuff before. There's familiarity. There's appreciating people. There's liking people. There's being a fan of people's works. There's being a fan of people, as persons. And I know that I am in a slightly different position than some people, where I have like personal relationships with people. But also, the thing that I have done my best to do is, they say once you peek behind the curtain, once you see the wizard, like, and you see that the wizard is just a man, the Wizard of Oz I'm talking about here, you peek behind the curtain, that the magic is gone. And I don't believe that. I do my damnedest to make sure that I am not like crossing lines with that kind of stuff. But I still like things. Like, there are people I know out there, they're like, well, once I'm on a podcast, I can't listen to that podcast anymore because I've been a guest on that podcast before. And it's like, well, I'm not going to listen to the episode of the podcast I'm on, because that's weird. Unless I'm going in to pull a clip from it because I want to use that clip in something. But I'll still listen to a podcast I was on a guest on once if I like the podcast. It doesn't change that. Like, I don't have a problem, for me anyway. This is just me. I don't have a problem, still enjoying things, even if I have interpersonal relationships with people that make those things. Like, that doesn't bother me. You have to be careful of that stuff, right? Because in the same way that's true, there's also the fanboy fan, and fanboy isn't a great term, and it's not an open term. But here we go. We'll put this in some parlance for the kids, which is reusing a very old term. There's a big difference between being a fan and a stan. And I'm speaking for every creator that exists in this world that is good and nice and that you like out there. None of those people want you to be stans. They want your support if they have a Patreon, if they have a subscription service, if they have, if they're working for a company and they want you to pick up merch and watch their streams and support them and tell your friends, listen to podcasts, maybe use their offer codes for things if you're already going to be buying something. Get Honey, because Honey's free, and use the offer code. You're never going to use Honey, but get it. It's a free web browser extension. But the next time you get Honey, do it because you heard a podcast ad about it. All those people want your support, but they don't need your dedication in that way. And that also extends to, joining the Discords. If you want to use the Discord and connect with fans and other fans and talk about stuff and be part of a community, You want to be on the message boards. You want to hang out. That's all great. But like, you don't have to do that stuff. You don't have to watch the streams. You don't have to listen to the podcast the day it comes out. You want to check out a stream? Great. You want to watch the VOD? Great. You want to watch the YouTube archive? Great. If you want to watch one of their streams of anybody, you want to be in the chat, I always say this, and I hope that you understand I am being genuine when I say it. It is fucking great when people are in the chat, typing stuff out, and interacting with me. If you're not feeling it that day, don't do it. Are there days where the chat is pretty quiet and I don't really have anything going on and I'm like, fuck, I wish the chat was talking? Yeah, those happen. Hey, Dirty. But for the most part, I just want you to engage this the way you want to engage with it. A healthy, nice way to engage with it. Hey, Dirty just used 1,000 channel points for the ring the bell. I have a bell, and I'm going to ring that bell. Thank you for using your channel points. Appreciate it. But that's to me, that is the whole thing, right? My hope is that you engage smartly and respectfully, right? I really like Nextlander has a not Twitch chat. It's a Discord channel. Great, especially during things like E3. Yes. So if you didn't know, if you become a patron, you get access to the Discord. There's a channel in there called Not Twitch Chat. So if you want to have Discord up on your phone or in another tab, another window, another monitor, you can chat with other people like that instead of having to use Twitch Chat. And you just make, remove Twitch Chat. In the same way, if I watch a YouTube video that had a premiere, I hide chat immediately because that's not what I'm there for. Especially like after the fact. It feels odd to engage with chat after the fact. But also some people just don't want to engage with chat at all. And like, yeah, you don't have to. All right, we're working on our shoulders here, so we're still working on this part. We're going to put it all together. And of course, we're doing this all at the same time. Jam is here. Welcome, Jam. But yeah, I like chat. I hate assholes in chat. Exactly. Also, having a live chat, well, I don't know, because I didn't watch the chat today. I had other stuff going on. I was doing some prep work. I'll talk about that a little later. So I didn't see the live stream. I watched the very beginning of it, but I didn't continue watching it. So these are things I don't know about, right? With Nextlander. Nextlander is a business of 3 people doing streams and podcasts and video content. I don't know if they have Twitch mods in place, if they have Discord mods in place, if they're going to have mods, if they're going to have a social media person in a month and a half, which is like page 4 of the list of things they need to do is, okay, well, we got to get somebody here, but we can't do this until we do that, and we can get this person, and we don't have funds to do any of this, so we're just going to do it ourselves, or we'll get volunteers, but we don't want to have too many volunteers and all these other things, right? They have no Discord mods, which seems weird. Well, also, Epic Overworld, they are a thing that the self-proclaimed pessimist, Alex Navarro, said, which while I understand, I don't understand, because I am too much of an optimist when it comes to things. The idea that the Patreon did better than they were expecting is a little. I'm of 2 things. One, it is totally reasonable to believe that a Patreon that has its lowest tier being $5 will have trouble immediately grabbing an audience. But also, it's $5 a month to support 3 people that have a proven track record of making content that people very much enjoy. So, like, you have to, it's the thing of, like, there are some times where things are no-brainers. Former Giant Bomb, alumni, Drew Scanlon wanted to travel and make documentaries. Drew Scanlon made a documentary, which it wasn't exactly what the Patreon was, but one, the time that he talked about going to Korea and put up North Korea, and put up the video of that, and then also when he and Patrick went to Iceland. So um, he had proof of concept. Drew Scanlon had things that he could point at and go, "This is what I did. This is what I want to do." Danny O'Dwyer spent a lot of time at a GameSpot trying to do mini versions of what E3 host and all that of what he is doing. So like those things are no brainers. Those are things kind of funny to a lot of people is a no brainer. Oh, those are the people I like at IGN, and they all left together and they're starting a new thing. Hell yeah, I'm in on that. There are things like that that are, to me, GB memberships are renewed, so I'm giving another year. But yeah, totally. Yeah, it's $5 a month. That's a subscription to a lot of things, right? Waypoint Plus to me is a no-brainer. Here's the thing I'll say about Waypoint. I didn't watch a lot of their streams. They were during the day. I had other things going on, or I was working on projects. Sometimes I watched them later. I don't remember like basically anything of Hot Mic Mornings because it was not a thing that I was into. I still respect the hell out of them. I'm glad that they will have the leeway in order to start making more streams and doing more content like that. Do I need like their extra podcasts? I mean, I like a lot of them. But mostly it's just like I'm supporting something that I believe in. And then there are other people that are like, I'm striking out on my own. And I'm like, starting a business is also kind of scary no matter when you start one. Totally, this hurts my head. Like 100%. I've joked about this, right? Obviously, I'm small. I'm a small streamer. But I still am worried that one day I'm gonna be like, well, it's 9:03, time to hit the 1 minute ad. I'm still afraid. Most streams, I'm gonna look up and see 2 viewers, and be like, well, I gotta start. Nobody came. I know that the viewer number takes like 5 minutes to fucking settle and is delayed about the viewer number, and it's not a good indication if people are there or not. One of the reasons I ask you to put emotes or say hi in chat is to know that you're there at the beginning of chat, because without indication, but like that's me. Like I understand that feeling of like, well, this is scary, because yeah, it's still scary. The fact that anyone came to my first stream was like, what? Because my first stream was like 3 p.m. on a Thursday for an hour. And I was just like, hey, I'm streaming. And that happened. I was like, oh, cool, people are here. And then also, people I knew were here. We had early on, we had Vinny Caravel coming in pretty early. One of the first people to come check out. That was a big deal. That was a legit big deal that Vinny came into chat. But Xandra was there the first day, which was the fucking best. But yeah, people I knew, people I didn't know, people I knew from various communities. When I made the choice that I was going to start trying to do this nonsense, it meant a lot that people came in to hang out. It's weird that I don't feel like, yeah. No, I understand. You don't sub to Dan Records channel. So yeah, look, Lord Crashington, you make your choice, how you want to support people, right? Maybe your support is going to be you follow them on Twitter. You give them a retweet. You sub for free on their YouTube. You follow them on Twitch. You give them views and come hang out. Yeah, Dan Reichert does pretty well for himself as a streamer. Maybe your $5 can support somebody else. That's not weird. When people launch Patreons, when people do coffees, when people are like, hey, I'm doing a fundraising thing, like I understand, like when this was not for PAX East 2020, I was fine. Or 2020, I was fine. But in 2019, the last PAX Seattle that I went to, I had a sponsorship deal lined up to get me out there. And then that sponsorship deal fell through. And suddenly I was in some debt trying to get out there. So I did a GoFundMe to help me get out there. And, I didn't lead with, hey, I lost a sponsorship deal. It was a handshake deal and it fell through. And I'm in some trouble. I need some help. I just said, hey, I got invited to go do panels. Actually, that was PAX East 2019. I apologize. It wasn't West. It was East. I said, hey, I'm having trouble getting out there. If you can support, I appreciate that. So I set up a GoFundMe. I'm not going to do a Kickstarter campaign or anything, which I have done in the past, any of that. And I get people saying, well, don't apply for PAX if you can't get to PAX. And I get that. And now the people that were saying that were the like couple people that said that were not people that follow me. These are people that saw a retweet from someone they follow, maybe casually, maybe fully support them, who were being nice by retweeting. But I get that. Like, the perception is, if I can do a panel at PAX, I got money to go to PAX. I don't need help to get to PAX. Now, if I had known that sponsorship was going to fall through, I would have either tried to get other things going, or I would have allocated funds better, and I didn't. So I was certainly at fault for not being prepared for that. But yeah, I get that. Like, the perception that people are doing well means that you might want to help somebody out small. Maybe you want to be somebody's 25th subscriber instead of somebody's 130th subscriber. I get that. You make your choice, right? A thing I say, I'm not alone in saying this, and I feel comfortable saying it. Generalizing for a lot of people is. In the same way, those good people want you to be fans and don't need you to be stans. Those other people are like, hey, eat food, pay your rent, watch a movie, buy yourself something just cause. If $5 is going to make things rough for you, then don't spend $5, But if you want to help some people who are going the independent route, who are doing this thing, who decided to apply their trade in a way that works for them instead of going behind the scenes, or being the face of a company, like transitioning into another field, at age late 30s into early 40s. Yeah, and yeah, Lord Crashes, brings up the group versus solo dynamic, and that's kind of what I was saying about how, like, I wasn't going to Kotaku because Patrick was there, because I wasn't really going to Kotaku, it's Danny on the Beastcast, or sorry, not Beastcast, the Bombcast. Danny on the Bombcast is great because, I don't catch all of his streams. I watch his videos because I think his videos are incredible, but I don't catch all of, the streams, even though I'm a Patreon supporter. I don't catch all of it. So it's like a cool check-in with Danny O'Dwyer when the thing that I was already watching. It's like, oh, hell yeah. In the same way, I was ecstatic when Patrick joined Giant Bomb because I missed hearing Patrick's perspective on things at 1UP because I saw him on 1UP and I knew him. So I was just like, oh, fuck yeah. And like that's one of those things where you're just like, well, this just works better when Alex transitioned from Screened to Giant Bomb. It's just like, well, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Like, of course, that, like, those things just work and make things just, like, way cooler. All right, so now we're moving on the right arm. We're going to put one of these aside. We're going to move on to, we're going to say this is the shoulder for the right arm. But yeah, like, when people scatter to the wind or join stuff that you're not super into, like, it's okay. There's a lot. The internet's a big place. There's a lot of shit that goes on. I bring up Loading Ready Run occasionally because I like the work they do. They've been around for a long time. They have quality, excellent people. real quick, just saying, plug while I got the plug because I have this here. Pat Bear's Anime Club, yelling about the shows we love, featuring Ian Horner, Heather Derry from Loading Ready Run, and myself, of course. Friday, July 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern, at twitch.tv/PAX2. The panel will be pre-recorded, but I will be in the Discord for it because there's a PAX Discord. That's happening. But because I was just mentioning it, so I want to plug that. I'm going to plug it a lot because it's going to be great. I don't watch all of Loading Ready Run streams because, like, I love Adam and Ben, but they play horror games, and I don't like horror games. I love Abby. Hey, sorry, I've never seen any of Abby's horror content outside of Resident Evil, maybe. But, like, I don't know. I don't know how any of those streams went outside of, like, clips, like the best of clips. I don't know how any of those things go because I don't watch horror games. Fucking get out of here. When Mary was streaming at night and we would raid Mary and she'd be playing some sort of horror thing, it's just like, cool, everyone have fun. I'm out of here. That's not what I want to watch. So, hey, welcome, Maynard. Happy here. Happy to have you here. But yeah, Loading Ready Run does a lot of stuff about Magic the Gathering, a game I played when it came out and have not played in a very long time, and I kind of don't care about Magic the Gathering. I love that they love it, but you know what I do check in with them about? I check in with them when they're doing something very strange, like they're doing like an interesting odd format, or I kind of like there's a podcast they have where every once in a while they'll do nicknames for every card and their users submit it, and I just find that enjoyable to listen to while I'm doing other things because sometimes they are references to Magic the Gathering that I kind of get, and sometimes they're things I don't get at all, but sometimes they're just like, can I offer you an egg in this trying time? Like if a card has an egg in it, you're going to get that Always Sunny reference. But also, it has haste is a joke that I get from Magic the Gathering because sometimes Magic cards have haste, and you're like, wait, it has haste? Like, what? Why does it have haste? Like, it's like, that's a joke. It's like, ooh, I get that joke. And now you know a thing about Magic the Gathering. You know a meme about that. But, like, yeah, on Friday nights, they're playing Magic, and I'm like, okay. But on Wednesday, they play games. They just played Worms. And I was like, yeah, I want to watch people I really like play Worms. That sounds great. I give Ian Horner he has every other Thursday he does Tinker, Tailor, Solder, Fry. He's a huge influence on this stream and the kinds of work I do on here. Ian is a huge influence on that in that program. But yeah, I don't watch all the stuff they do. They play Minecraft on there a lot. They do weird things in Minecraft, which sounds great, but I don't give a fuck about Minecraft. So, you know. Yeah, totally, Epic Open World. Having the Nextlander folks and the Waypoint folks together sounds very fun. Talking E3 press conference, right? Yeah. But also, if you're like, well, I'm going to watch these people talk about this one day, I'm just going to go. Like, for me, E3 not being in a physical space basically means E3 kind of doesn't, like, I don't, one, I rarely care about E3. Two, I do not care about digital E3 at all. So, like, it's funny to think about how up until last year, I wouldn't stream or I would do an early stream because I didn't want to compete against the Thursday night Giant Bomb E3 coverage. So one year I didn't stream on a Thursday, and the next year I streamed early. I called an audible and did early because one of my favorite things about E3 was I literally posted 4 photos of it as my goof instead of, because I've never been to E3, so I don't have photos of me at E3. But my goof photos were all the Thursday night nonsense crew of Adam and Johnny and Dave and Jeff as that crew. Like, I not only do I not want to stream against that, I want to watch it. Last year I streamed on Thursday because this E3 is just like oh sure, like I'm gonna tune in, I'm gonna watch what I want to watch and enjoy and hang out, but it's like, to me, this isn't like E3 right now is just like, okay, sure, whatever. People are gonna tweet about it. It's also, hey, here's a cool thing about digital E3 that's not cool. Cool in quotation marks. Apparently, it's way easier to leak digital E3 than it is regular E3, because I feel like what I'm hearing from insiders kind of going, is, not everybody's saying this, but some people are saying, hey, don't expect a lot of surprises because all of the surprises are leaking. There'll still be surprises, don't get me wrong. There's still going to be things that we don't know what's happening, but like, Johnny had to go work for Nintendo, so that can't happen anymore. I mean, look. Yes and no. Johnny worked for Disney and still showed up at things. Disney is a different company, but you figure those things out. You make those things work. Who knows? Who knows? Also, both Johns worked for Disney. Indeed. Yes, John Drake, doing his thing out there, making things happen. Business John's out there doing his thing. But yes, I always think it's very funny that two people that were in different, like one was in games and one was working for Marvel, but had the same title, like the same like level. A thing I was always scared about was that like Johnny was going to meet my nightmare nonsense friend, a man I love to death, but who is a nightmare, who will remain nameless, who was a comedy person that worked at Toy Biz, and then Toy Biz bought Marvel, so he became a Marvel person, and then Disney bought Marvel, so he became a Disney person. But I always think about one of the darkest men in the world, and I was like, Johnny, if you ever meet this guy, you got to be careful, because he's great, but he's got, they have very similar energy, but they are chaotic good. No, Johnny is chaotic neutral, and my other friend is chaotic evil. Because sometimes Johnny doesn't know that he is doing a thing, and it is, oh no, what are you doing? What are we doing now? And now Drake's dead, indeed. Turns out the only way to get Andrea away from E3 is childbirth. Which is like, yeah, that makes sense. Good on you. All right, so we got to put the connectors on here. We're working on our arm. We're putting some connectors on this arm, getting this ready to go. But yes. Oh boy, I was always scared about that. Yeah, I look, at the end of the day, I'm excited for people that I like doing cool shit. Also, it is chaotic good title when he tweeted out Lang's phone number. Indeed, Epic on World. That's why he isn't chaotic good. He is chaotic neutral, because the intent isn't evil, but there is chaotic intent. The thing that I'm happy about, people doing some cool shit, doing work. Look, also, totally excited about people who are passionate about video games and the culture of video games and the people who make them and the people who play them and want to talk about them, staying in games, because that is a thing. I, as a person who is also attempting to change industries and failing spectacularly at doing so, I take everything where people move behind the scenes for consulting, people that move behind the scenes, move in a different direction, are no longer doing that, people that move in the industries in different ways. I respect all of that. People that are like, I'm going to work for a big company and you're never going to hear from me again because they don't let me talk. Sucks, but also, yeah, do that, please. Like, I remember some people were like, "Oh, I can't believe this person who got laid off like didn't do this other thing," and I'm like, "Oh, you mean you're sad that they went to EA? What when they have a kid who's going to college next year, and they went to EA instead of being a games journalist?" I'm not sad. I mean, I'm sad, but I don't blame them. But also people that are like, yeah, like also fucking if you're in a position that you can go independent, that you can do a Patreon subscription service, that you can set up things like that, you can have a subscription to Twitch and have that funnel in, uh, and you can take branding deals here and there that feel good, and maybe you do some other things, and you have your ethos because you come from websites and magazines, and you have history of doing that, and so you are not a YouTuber who's doing a podcast. You are somebody from an old school like article based old. You're an old, and you could take that in and bring that in as a selling point for what you do. Um, like fucking please do that. That sounds rad. I'm so psyched about that. Well, thank you, Poochie. I finished up work, so you're logging off. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out. Always nice to have people come in to the channel and see what's up. Um, uh, when Andy McNamara left Game Informer, which he basically started, to go work at EA, I totally got it, but it made me sad. Oh, yeah, I mean, look, that's what I'm saying. Like, feel your feelings, right? Like, there were people who were like I haven't talked to him. I don't know what his deal is. Again, we don't book the territory, but like Ben Pack tweeted a while ago, a bit ago, like, hey, I might end up in a position where I'm not going to be tweeting on here, and I'm not going to be that public. And it was like, good for you. If that's how it ends up, and you're in a position where you're happy and you're doing something you're psyched about, like, fuck yeah. Like, that's a shame because I think it's a fun person, and he ends up at a corporate gig where he can't like be himself. Like, oh, that's a shame, certainly. But also, it's like, I want people to be happy. We can feel bad about that stuff because, like, yeah, if you like somebody, and you want to see them post hot messes because they work for an independent company or a company that is fine with their hot messes and doing silly things, and you're like, oh, well, we're not going to get that if they're over there, or we're going to miss their voice because their voice is now behind a corporate entity. Like, I get that. Because not everybody is fucking cool, or bosses, or some people still work at a place that has like possibly not enough oversight. Like, I love that. I don't know if everyone at Microsoft knows that they own Double Fine. I'm not sure that everybody knows that because, like, on a certain level, sure. But on, like, the head of your social media, like, still posts on her personal stuff shit that a Microsoft employee probably shouldn't, but a Double Fine employee is okay doing. I am not trying to throw shade on anyone, but also because I agree with Heather on just about everything. I get what she says, but like, I love that Heather Alexander still writes shit on her personal Twitter account when she is the social person for Double Fine, and maybe shouldn't, but still is doing it, and I think that fucking rules. But not everybody gets to do that shit. I hope Phil Spencer knows that. Yeah, I don't know, but like, if you can, good. If you can't, I get it. Like, I hope that wherever I end up, part-time, full-time, these are things that I ask, right? Like, if I do, there are, like, little gigs that I do here and there, right? Little contract gigs, one-off things, that I, Why does Patreon charge 2-cent tax for your Q&As? Oh, Lashberg, are you asking for my, like, why is there tax on the $1, or does every post? Well, I don't know what you mean. Are you saying, like, the main thing with Patreon is they don't want $1 levels anymore. They want me to they want everyone to bump up because they don't get enough money out of $1 patrons. But I'm grandfathered in, so they can't tell me that it has to change. Which is, I believe, new patrons who are not locked into the old method can't start at $1. So that might be where that comes in. That is an attempt to get creators like myself to jump to a higher minimum. But I don't want to do that because I know that I will lose a percentage of people if I do that, and I don't hit my minimums. Last person, I joined at the $5 tier, and it charged 2-cent tax and broke down exactly what was getting taxed, and it was Q&As. Weird. Blastwork, I don't know. I believe at a certain point they started grouping things for they started categorizing certain things, and they said it wasn't going to affect a lot of people, and it has been affecting people. But yeah, their monetary level doesn't make a lot of sense, and I don't know why they do that. So I apologize that you got a 2-cent tax. That is frustrating. But yeah, I don't know. The breakdown there is not good. Look, also, I would love to leave Patreon, but I also don't know that enough people would follow or enough new people would join the other thing. So that's why I haven't done a coffee. I have a coffee set up, but I haven't done monthly on there. I haven't set up a Patreon like on there. I was hoping that drip was going to be a thing. Because it should have fucking been one years ago. The fact that Kickstarter, who has so many people's stuff stored on file, the fact that Kickstarter didn't actually follow through with making a legit competitive Patreon killer, because that's what it would have been, is such it's so frustrating because they had the opportunity and they squandered the opportunity. So frustrating. Because, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, I'm on Patreon still because friends of mine who have smaller and bigger crews followings suffered monetary loss when they switched to coffee. And I am nervous about that. So haven't. But also, thank you for your support very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Lashbrook, for joining my Patreon. That means a lot. Welcome to getting videos a day early or hours early, if I am running behind schedule on things, which occasionally I am. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm working on this arm. This piece keeps popping off. I am going to glue it in place. I am going to pull it like this so that I don't get it stuck on the arm. But I am definitely going to be using, after stream, I'm going to be using some of my liquid cement here to kind of put this in place because this is just going to pop off. I don't know if the other one is, but this is a bad connection here. And I don't think I screwed it up. I mean, it's possible I did, but it looks like it's just doesn't really have a good place to connect there. So that's frustrating. But yeah, that just keeps wanting to come off. So I will be hitting that with liquid cement. And I will have liquid cement out to do it on the other one. And then, like, yeah, this is how the arm goes, and it bends and bends, yeah. All right, so I got to get this connected. I mean, I haven't seen a review of this kit, so I don't know if these are issues that other people have been having with this kit. I'll let you know if I see that. But speaking of supporting people on Patreon, we're probably going to do a pause for the calls in a moment or two, talk ways you can support the channel. Let's get this arm done before I do that. Let's get a whole arm done, and then we'll do our pause for the calls, talk ways you can support what I'm doing. And we also have our anime to chat about. I got 3 shows to talk to you about. Um, oh man, I watched a bad anime last night because I was bored last night, and I wanted to watch something, and I usually wait until like the like the end of the season to watch stuff that I like skipped if I hear good things about it. But there's a Roman gladiator, like some people are prisoners, slaves, and they are fighting in arenas for enjoyment, like low attended things, but happening, um, and it's all CGI. I'm gonna look up the name of it because I forgot the name, but it's bad. I mean, it's a bad show. So let me find the name of this. Do 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 do. Okay, what is the name of this? Okay. Uh, it's CES TVS. Servus, the Roman fighter. The reason why I haven't seen anyone tweeting about it is because it looks terrible. It's all CGI. It's not X Arms bad, which is the worst thing I've seen in years. So it's not that bad, but it is like Berserk 2016 bad. It's look, I've talked about this a lot. I don't like CGI. I purely don't like the CGI animation that is mixed with digital. I much more prefer the other kinds of animation out there, the digital. But if you're CGI and that's your thing, and you're gonna go with that, that's fine. Except it just sucks and looks terrible. So that's why I've seen zero clips. Crunchyroll hasn't put any clips of it. They don't put clips up of every show, but they usually like they only put one clip up of X-Arm outside of the opening because they knew that those were going to be bad numbers and it wasn't going to benefit anyone. In fact, it was just going to make things worse because people were going to be like, yeah, no, this looks terrible. They only put one clip up of that awful monster show whose name I can't remember, the worst Crunchyroll original before up until X-Arm. And so yeah, we haven't seen any clips from this show in their Crunchyroll collections, and now I know why. And it's really weird to see people like comment about how like they love it. Like there are comments that are like, "Oh, he's getting so much better at boxing," and you're like, "Are you what? Are you paying it? What?" Like to each their own, but what are you talking about? I don't know. It's just very surprising because I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess this show has fans. Like every show has fans, right?" But uh I'm watching Girls und Panzers as a break between Gundam series, and I have to say the CG tanks are kind of jarring, so I'm sure how I feel about other shows that use it more heavily. So like if it's stylized, like the monsters and the mech in SSSS Daizamon, that's not what I have a problem with. Because I'm not enjoying that show, and I stopped watching it, and I'll finish it because I liked Gridman a lot. The things I don't like about that are the company that makes it. I continue to not enjoy Trigger as a company. I just don't like the stuff. I just don't enjoy their ethos of character, like their commonality in characters. But in that world, because it's very stylized, I can totally enjoy and engage in with their blend of digital and CG. I think it totally works because I like what they're doing in the show. I like that blend. I didn't even talk about it on Saturday. They had a big battle in Soma Spider So What, like a huge battle with elves and humans fighting, and clearly to be on time, and they had to make. Usually, that show has monsters or CGI, and then when they're in close-ups or interacting with other creatures, they're digital. So they kind of blend it, and it makes sense, and it works fine most of the time. But in this case, because they had to get it done in the big group shots, they had a lot of very poor-looking, like elves that like you were like, yikes, this looks awful. Oh no, this is terrible. It made for a poor viewing experience. because I was like, oh, nobody wants this. Why are they doing this? It's one of those things where I'm like, I bet the Blu-ray release this looks better. But we never get the Blu-ray release. Once it's out on streaming services, we don't get them again, which is the shame, right? Like, Dragon Ball Super, for me, is never going to look better than it does now because I'm never going to buy Blu-rays of Dragon Ball Super. And I wish I was the kind of person that would do that because I bet the home release looks, they must have fixed it, that, because that was a show that was over budget and they were just running out of time because it was weekly. So that show definitely suffered from the weekly thing. That I was like, oofa doofa. Or like parts of the second half of a show that was out last year because of the Chinese studio that was doing the motion stuff for the volleyball for Haikyuu was closed because of the pandemic, and another Japanese studio did it, and there are just some episodes that don't look great because it wasn't the people that normally did the volleyball movement, and you're like, ooh, this took a dip in quality. Oh yeah, that makes sense because it's 2020 when this was being done. Yikes. Like, I understand it, I get it, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm never going to see another version of this, so what I will see is next season in flashbacks, it'll look way better. Okay. So, it's time for a pause for the cause. And maybe you're like, hey, Pat, what the fuck does that mean? And it's okay. And swear if you like, but you don't need to. I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. I'm going to do this very quickly. We'll get back into building because I would love to try to get some more of the arm done here on this kit. But let's take a moment. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave Lego the Scythe emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can apply with those emotes. I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. Subscribing is an easy way to do it. It's $5 a month cash money, or you could be like Epic Open World, use your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch account, you get that token. If you're not going to use it for me, please use it for somebody because that's just money on the table. Because you still have Amazon Prime and you occasionally look for documentaries or someone tells you about a TV show and it happens to be there, but you have it, so why not, if you got that token, use it. So thank you very much for everybody who does subscribe. Gifting subs is a way to support what I do here. We have Aristophan and Silver Streak gifted subs this month. There's a spot there in the leaderboard. Cheers, bits and coins, always appreciated. Just gets me over that hump there. And I appreciate that very much. We are gearing up, folks, for the Pat Bear birthday stream, June 23rd. It's a Wednesday night. Jackbox with all of us is my birthday Jackbox. We're going to be playing games with you on June 23rd. So if you're looking to subscribe and if you're thinking about gifting some subs, you can wait for that because that's always a fun little time to kind of support the community, and we get some people that haven't been here in a while coming in, and it's a good time. So that's coming up. So save that date. I got dates to say. Nice, Epic. That is cool. So I'm going to talk about again ways you can support the channel. All optional. If you can't, then don't. If you can't do it every month, if you can do it now and again, if you were gifted a sub, you can convert that to a regular subscription, and they won't charge you till your gift sub is up. But if you can't, and you were gifted a sub, and you're like, oh no, every once in a while someone gives me a subscription, and that's all I got. That's fine. Thank you for being here. If all you can do is watch, that's not all. That's great. Now, if you want to be like Lashbrook and also join my Patreon, or instead join my Patreon, you can fucking do that. Patreon.com/PatBear. I got a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier. $10 you get to vote when I'll build something coming from my wish list, which I'll talk about later. But if I don't have anything in my wish list to build, then I go to my backlog and I have my $10 patrons vote on what I do. $5 you get videos early. $3 once a month you get to vote. The $1 gets the Q&A. That's what we do. And also there are posts that everybody gets, and I put my schedule there, so it's kind of convenient. But yeah, you get video. I post videos there a day early, so if you're like, oh well, I like those Pat Bear Reacts videos, but I don't want to watch them on Wednesday. I want to watch them on Tuesday. Well, then you can join the Patreon. Now at the $5 level if you want. Now also, I have a YouTube channel, and subscribing to my YouTube channel is free. Obviously, join my YouTube channel for free. It's cool. But you can also join there on a membership. They do memberships. It pushed me over the edge to get that Google payout. And everything I make through YouTube, through with AdSense, through Patreon, and through Twitch all goes back into me buying kits and equipment. So if you'd like to see me build more on stream, that is a way to support what I do. It's through that. Also direct donations. It all goes back into the business because this is a business. Some people will say like, oh no, I stream because I love it. I do love doing this, but also, and look, I love doing this, and if I wasn't streaming, I would be in a worse place in many ways. Just having some days, knowing that, well, in 5 hours I'm streaming. Okay. Like some days that is a thing. We're going to get back to building very soon, folks. Also, direct donations, I got those. I talked about how if you want me to not build stuff that's on my wish list and instead build something that you would love me to build, you can buy that from my Amazon wish list instead of my regular backlog. I have a wish list on Amazon. Somebody who asked to remain anonymous, which I appreciate and will accommodate, bought me a Surfetched Mega Constructs, which will take no time to build, but is very cute. But on my wish list, I got Lego sets. I've got high grade kits. I just put in on the list the two RX-7 82s that came out last year, the Gundam Revive model and the Beyond Global. And those are priced great, and I would love to build those. I put in, hey, I don't know if I've ever built the RGM Jesta. Now I have the master grade Jesta to build, but I put the high grade in there because I don't know, why not? It's priced pretty well, and I've never built it. There's a Lego mech in there that is a 3-in-1. That is a mech and an alien figure and a different kind of robot. And that's a 3-in-1. I'll build that. I've never built a gun tank before. I don't know how I bought the gun cannon, but I've never built the gun and built that on stream. I've never built the gun tank. I don't know how I never built the high grade gun tank, but I put that on the list because that's there. There's stuff that's cheap. There's stuff that's fucking expensive and definitely should not be as expensive as it is right now, but it is that price. And I got that on the wish list. And if you see something in there you'd like to see me build on stream, you could purchase it and I'll build it. All right, let me try to get through the rest of this so we can get back to building. How many gun tank kits are there? Really? 2? I believe that there are 2 different gun tank kits that exist out there. But I built the gun cannons and I built the gun cannon detector, I should say. But I've never built the gun tank before. I believe there is there's like 2 versions of that kit out there. But yeah, I just never built that. But there's 2 versions of Jesta. I was mentioning that. I have the master grade here, but I put the high grade up because why not? Also, we've been in a little bit of a slump to have things on there. So if you want to see me do that, I will shoot a video about how cool that kit is, and then it will jump the queue and I will build it. You're just joking. Okay. Yeah. Also, USA Gundam store, you can buy a gift card, send me a DM on Twitter with that code, and it acts just like Amazon, but is not Amazon. And I know that some people, that is very important to them. So I understand. I have a Discord. That's free. We just had a few people join the Discord pretty recently, which was nice. It was nice of them to join in. The Discord is just a place to hang out. Post photos of stuff you're working on. Like, ooh, Slowbird picked up a Pokemon kit. Charizard versus Dragonite. I'm like, ooh, that's a cool kit. And that was neat. And people post stuff they're working on, and that's always fun. I got a couple of video links for you to check out. Today I put up a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club, and I'm talking about bad anime adaptations. When anime adaptations go bad, quote unquote. I'm talking about one of them. The one I spend the most time on is Promised Neverland Season 2. Because while that is not a show that I have watched, because I don't watch anime about children in peril, that is just not a thing that I can handle. Season 2 really disappointed people that love Season 1. And why did that happen? How could they mess that up? And talking about the reasons why. And I'm looking at a few other shows that similarly have an anime adaptation. These are recent shows. I didn't go deep in the archives. These are pretty recent shows that like just didn't hit right. And maybe why, what that is. Some that just was like, this is a weird choice. Or others where you're like, oh no, that's the thing I love. Why did they fuck it up? So check that out. That's Pat Bear's Anime Club. Bear With Me is my reaction video series. You've probably seen a couple of them. But the most recent Bear With Me that went up on Wednesday is me doing an unboxing of this very kit. It's my first unboxing because it came in the mail, and I was like, the video I recorded was blocked region in every region globally. So I was like, fine, I'm gonna do this. I'm excited to do an unboxing. I'd want to take a look at the kit, and I thought that would be kind of neat to do. So I might do another one when if and when another of my premium kits fucking comes in the goddamn mail. I'll do another one of those probably because that was fun. All right, so that's that. I'm gonna talk about some anime. I'm gonna drink some water right now, and we'll get back to building, work on the other arm, and let me get this ready for the shows I want to talk about. And we'll get back to building, and I'll remember to do this because sometimes I forget to do that. But thank you for putting up with the pause for the cause. For a lot of you, it's a broken record, and I understand that. So I do appreciate your putting up with that as I promote myself. But I gotta, because I got you here because like there are still people who are like, oh, I didn't know you streamed. Or, oh, hey, do you still stream? Or, you have a Patreon? Oh, cool. Like, I've been doing it. So, you still got to keep the word out. Because there are people who just don't know that stuff. And it's okay. It's fine they don't know. But, that's part of my job is to get them to know. Okay. So let's talk about My Hero Academia Season 5. We are in My Hero Academia. Right now, we have been in the battle arc. Oh, thank you, Tang. Tangy Geoduck is now following. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. So, a lot of action in this episode, My Hero Academia. The big thing that is happening is Deku was having some issues with All for One. Now, if you're unfamiliar with All for One, One for All. There's All for One and One for All. And One for All is the power he has, which is a stacking thing where it can be transferred. It's a quirk that can be transferred, and it doubles up power and continues power. Well, some people that have had it, they had other quirks. They already had their own quirks. And now, finally, after all this time, Deku, who has that, is slowly going to be able to start using the quirks of other people that had it. Other folks along the lines. In the same way that he was hearing the voices of all of them. He met the first one. He's had these like weird visions. All Might didn't have that. So hadn't heard the voice of it. So it's a lot. So right now, and he used it very briefly, and he's got to figure out how to use it and incorporate it. He now has energy tentacles coming out of his arm, wrist, fingers, extremity. Right now it's just his hand. It's like black whips of energy. But basically, Deku's now Spider-Man. he's now also Spider-Man, and it fucking rules. I mean, look, here's the thing. Deku's always been Spider-Man. Deku is Spider-Man who's trying to live up to his teacher, Superman. That is just a thing in this universe. Because he's always been like the plucky, like underdog, like I don't know what these powers are. I'm trying to figure this thing out and do my best and balance all of this. But now now Deku's got, and they're like, somebody said like, that doesn't feel like your, like somebody literally was just like, that doesn't feel like your quirk though. Like that feels like a weird version of your quirk. And they're right, because the quirk is supposed to be like explosive energy that he has. Black Whip. What did I call it? Yeah, Black Whip. But basically, it's these, yeah, because it's like this black misty energy that comes out of his extremity, and that he can use for capturing people, or web swinging, or perhaps catching things. That's pretty good. It's good. It's a good power, and now apparently because of the effects of the stacking effects for One for All, it's stronger than the guy that had it, which is weird and also great. So now Deku's gonna have to like figure that shit out. It's pretty cool. So there's a fight. Luckily for the team, their team wins in this like Class 1A versus 1B. You described it as Black Whips. I just thought I'd let you know that they got the actual name. Yes, Black Whip is, yeah, the actual name of it, of the quirk. But it's weird because I don't know if he's going to call it that as moves, what he's going to call it, because it is like, he has two quirks now. It's weird. Anyway, there's some action, which was good. Mostly, I want to talk about Twin Impact, who is a Class 1B. He was a short, stocky guy that didn't really do much up until this point. And it was one of those things where I was like, what's up with the short, stocky dude? Because that dude, his gear is like weirdly like, he's like a stocky strong man, but he had a scouter. He had like a Dragon Ball scout, like a Frieza's henchman, like eye tracker, and then he has like a radar on his wrist and or on his hands, and I'm like, what the fuck's up with this dude? And his power is weird in a way that I'm like, whatever. His ability is that he can double impact. He's Twin Impact. Like if there's like, like let's say like something fell, he can have like a second impact that's twice as strong. So if you got punched, you can get double punched. Which is weird, and like, so that's why he has the radar and tracker, so he can like track movement of objects. Also, up close and personal, he just punches the shit out of Mineta, and so he's my new favorite character in My Hero Academia, because finally Mineta didn't get hit for comical reasons as a reaction to Mineta being awful. It was in a combat training scenario, and someone was just like, I'm gonna punch this dude, and he was like, people say, now I don't agree with Twin Impact. When I don't believe anyone has ever said that he has a god bod, but I appreciate that he believes that people have said that about him, and also he punched Mineta, and that was great. But the star, so people were like, oh, well, Deku turned the table on Shinsho, and, he's got the brainwashing thing, and, like, the star of that team is Ochako Uraha. She's the star of that show, because her martial arts skills, like, she had that training, she's just very good at, like, getting up in people's way and then touching them so they're, turning their gravity on, or turning their gravity off to transport them. But she's just great at, like, kicking people's ass. Takedowns. She's just really good at it. She, like, knocks out the girl Emily, who, as I said, I think I said this before, her hero name is Emily, She's a weird, creepy ghost girl because she's poltergeist is her name of her quirk, and she can move things, non-living things around like a ghost. But her name is Emily, which I just think is a great weird hero name choice. Um, but anyway, yeah, that ended, and then we don't know if the brainwash guy is going to be able to transfer from general studies into the hero program or not. But he still did pretty damn good. He did good. If he hadn't been there, it would have been harder for Deku to calm down when his power went out of control. I still fucking hate the copy dude. That guy still sucks. I hate everything about him. I'm supposed to hate him, but it doesn't. Just because I'm supposed to doesn't mean it's fine that he's there, because I do hate him. Oh, I hate him. He's just awful. He's just an awful dude. All right, so did I do this right? Okay, I think I did. Could put that in there. I don't know for sure, but this connecting piece on the opposite side was a little loose. It's not that loose on this one, so that's good. All right, oops, nope. And I say that, and it popped right off. So, yeah, I am definitely going to be using some liquid cement on these components on this to try to get this to stay in, because it seems like these are going to pop out, and I obviously don't want that. All right, so do I have other anime stuff to chat with you about? Let's see, while I do this, yeah. Okay, other shows. We got other anime to talk about. Let's talk about Dragon Goes House Hunting. Hey, if you've been watching Dragon Goes House Hunting, you might know that the opening, which is great, it's a great song, and like really plays well. That has a young lady in it, a young human lady in it. It's episode 10, and we finally introduced her. I have to imagine like it was like an afterthought in the manga or something to like not have this character show up earlier, but it's weird that she finally arrived. At the end of the episode, I'm going to say what her name is now because we learned at the end. Her name is Nell, which is her nickname, but she has a really long name that we don't get all of. But Nell is like definitely like got a bad attitude, but is also definitely tsundere, which is not my favorite. I do not love the tsundere archetype, but hopefully she just chills out really fast because she comes from a privileged life. So maybe that's why she's tsundere. I don't fucking know. Also, the show starts with the guy who did the incident that set the whole thing in motion. Because if you don't know, Nell is a name that brings up memories of a bad movie. I hear you, Dirty. I hear you. In this instance, Nell is a character shows up later in the episode, but it starts with Huey, the hunter. Huey is the guy that, along with his cat companion, stole the dragon egg and because Letty let that happen, Letty was kicked out of his home, which started the whole journey. So we have Huey the hunter to thank for all this. Now, also, Huey has been tracking Letty this whole time, and but always like one step behind. And then we eventually found out that he's the reason why so many people know or incorrectly believe that Letty is the flame dragon, the flame lord, I should say, like a much stronger dragon than most dragons and more dangerous than normal, is because he misunderstood something, and that's not great. Anyway, Letty and Daria are walking along. They come across some bandits. Daria takes them out with no problem because he's very strong. And they come across Nell. And Nell is run away from home and then got kidnapped like pretty quickly. And is like, well, I'm looking for a place to hang out. I need a really great bath there. I need a place to lay low. So they go and tour some spots. It is either clear that Daria does not understand what a human girl of some pedigree wants, or he is messing with her, which I think is the case because he likes to teach life lessons. So I imagine that he is messing with her. Um, so they check some places out. They don't like any of them. They have she really wanted that bath, so Letty's like, well, fine. I have this big pot that I'm using to cook up something, but I won't cook anything in it, and you can use that if you'd like. And she's like, fine. So she's taking a bath in this. Hey, we got some friends popping in. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for the follow. Contaction. Appreciate that. Thank you for the follow. Talking about anime. Working on a model kit. Talking about anime. You know, the usual. Anyway, they have a nice moment. It's a cute little moment. Some heroes show up because they're like, that's a princess. Apparently, duh. Nell is a princess that ran away from home, so the king would obviously want her back. And she doesn't want to go. They think because Nell is in this big pot that Letty is cooking her, which most of the time the heroes totally misunderstand the situation or are greedy in their own way and not cool. In this one particular instance, they are totally justified. They find a human woman in a big pot and a dragon there. They are totally justified in assuming that that dragon is trying to eat that lady. Like, I get that. This is the only time I've ever been like, yeah, they're wrong, but they're not wrong. They're like, you know. Anyway, Daria shows up, chases them off. Everything's fine. And Letty is like, hey, you don't want to go home. I still think you should go home and make up with your father because he stole your cupcake. Sure. But I feel bad if you're on your own. So if you want, you can travel with us as I try to find a home. And she's like, okay. Well, great. And I'm like, oh, cool. Hopefully she'll get over the tsundere stuff. There's also a moment where she definitely doesn't. And I'm like, meh. But yeah, so now at episode 10 of 12, we finally have our like the fourth character in the show, because I didn't mention Pip at all this point, but Pip is the little bird that thinks that Letty is his papa, and also that Letty is super strong and badass, which Letty is not, because that's the whole thing. It's a timid dragon just looking for a place to hide out. Instead, got themselves a whole family. Got a human lady friend, a young lady, got a little bird, and got a friend who is a ancient, fairly intelligent, but also kind of weird elf that at one point was called the Demon Lord. So, it's not the... Look, Dragon Ghost House Hunting is not a great show, but it is a very good show. It is a very fun, light little show. If you were like, you know, I want a fantasy show set in this kind of era, and I'm not looking for, I don't need dark fantasy. I would love some light fantasy. Like, this is very light, fluffy fantasy. It's cute and fun, and the characters are all great. There's a lot of attention to detail. I think it's animated beautifully. It's very fun. So yeah, I think it's good. It's not like my favorite show this season, but I don't know, it's a lot better. Let's see. Let's Make a Mug 2, TOO. If you are unfamiliar with this particular program, Let's Make a Mug 2 is an anime about a pottery club at school, a school pottery club. We're following Himeno, or Hime-chan, as she's called in the show, who moves to the place where her parents went to school and met. And she comes to find out that the same club is where her mother got her very unique style. Her mother was an excellent ceramics person. Himeno has no experience doing it, but wants to join the club. Kind of inspired by the fact that her mom loved it. You know, and some of her mom's ceramics are still in the home to this day. So she ends up joining. There's a big competition coming up. It's like the thing that kind of moves the story along, whatever plot there is, and it's fine. that there's competition because it hasn't been like too much, but it's moved the plot along, but it isn't like too annoying. So I'm fine with that. I usually don't love we got a big thing coming up. Gotta get ready for the competition. This episode, she figured out finally what she wants to make, but she doesn't know what color to do. And also, a thing that is cool about this episode is it starts with a lot of the character that has the least to do in the show of the 4 girls in it, which is Naoko, who is she's not really in the club. Like, I don't think she's made anything. She mostly just hangs out in the club. Like, she just really likes Himeno. Like, as a person, I don't think more than that. Look, I would say if there was subtext, I would talk about the subtext. There's not subtext. There's subtext between 2 other characters, one of them having definitely romantic feelings for another, but neither of these characters, the other 2 girls, and I believe it is one way, and I do not think we'll see a payoff with that. But no, just this girl was like preoccupied with her friend. I don't know, she's into her friend and what her friend's up to, but it doesn't seem to be romantic. She wants to help inspire Himeno about what glaze she wants to do, and they try a bunch of different things, and things don't really work out. And she's like, well, hey, there's this cool spot that I found. Let's go look at this cool place, and maybe this place will inspire you because I think it's awesome. And the spot she wants to go to, weirdly enough, is the art installation that Himeno's mom made. And Himeno's already been there. And she's like, yeah, my mom made this. And she's like, oh, I thought this color was kind of cool. And, Zanao is following. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. She's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to... you know what? I do want to do this. Himeno's like, this color is exactly what I want. I'm going to try to make it like this. And trial and error because the whole process. Sometimes, most of the time, I should say, this show doesn't dive too deep into the world of actually making ceramics. It's more about the girls who are in the club than it is like, it's not a love letter to ceramics. It is just a show about high school girls into a thing. It is not as informative as even After School Dice Club, which is clearly somebody was like, I want to make a manga about how cool tabletop games are. How do I make that? Okay, I'll do it like this. This is a show where it's just like, I want to make this anime about a place that I grew up in, and I'll do that, and this is how I'll tell the story. And I guess because it's this city that is famous for pottery, they should be in a pottery club. That's what it feels like. And now it's an anime because the city paid a bunch of money to help co-produce it. That's why we're watching this anime, because Tajimi City is known as a ceramics capital of Japan for years and years. So they paid the tourism board, helped produce this anime, and it fucking shows. Anyway, the experiment, they finally get what they want, and it's not exactly what they had originally intended, but they like it. So that's episode 10, because these are like 14-minute episodes. So that's all we had there. We're getting ready for the competition. 2 episodes to deal with the competition, because this is a 12-episode show, which is fine. And then a thing about the show is it's 14 minutes, but there's a live-action component. Now, this is nothing new. Live-action components of anime happen. Sometimes they're like Gal and Dino, where they are actors doing other act-outs of the show, doing other versions of it, like the live-action version. There shows, they're like the dramas. Laid Back Camp has a live-action version. This is promotional. This is paid for. It is the voice actors in the city doing things that happen in the anime and then other things, and they are making this effort to encourage tourism and also help sell the show. It's very rare to see this on subscription services. Usually, you will see somebody upload this. You'll see the official channels do it on YouTube, and it won't be subtitled. Or you will see fan subbers will sometimes do stuff like that because they just have a passion for it. And they want to show these kind of things. But it is rare to have this be you can just watch this on Crunchyroll. And it comes out right after. So you can watch the episode and then immediately watch that. And sometimes the live action is better than the anime, because these are fun ladies who are they're acting. I mean, they're playing a version of themselves. They're promoting whatever, but they're like having a good time. In this one, they had previously made handmade plates, ceramic plates, and now they are painting them. They're going back and doing the glaze. So it lines up perfectly with what happened in the anime, which is kind of fun that it lines up because sometimes they don't line up. So in this episode, yeah, the four girls are, four ladies, I should say. The voice actors for the four main girls are doing a thing and talking. Some of them like have trouble kind of picking a color. Some of them knew right away what they want to do. A specific that is cool is they're not wearing masks because the four of them are all together. That they haven't worn masks when they filmed, but this was filmed like last year. And you can tell because in outdoor shots, you can see people in the background that have masks. And then when they went to a high school, all the high school people, the four girls there, all were masked up and they socially distanced from them. And it's interesting because one of the voice actors put the date so she always remembered it. And the date that was on there was November 29th, 2020. So it's just odd to think about how they all traveled to the city and, filmed all of this in the fall. Like they filmed over several days in the fall of 2020. It's just very odd to me. Like that it's just nice to have that bit of time capsule because it's very strange that they were out doing that. And yeah, that was it. It was just straightforward, but it lined up really well. I like them. Some of them are more fun than others. This one wasn't my favorite. But yeah, they talk about their past and their own high school experiences, and it's cute. It's people, and they eat good food. And last week there was a bunch of cool looking ramen that like made me hungry for ramen. I don't know. They're fun. It's a fun little thing. Slim pickings for Sunday and Monday, which is why I wait on My Hero Academia because that comes out on Saturday. But I wait on that because I have 2 shows to watch on Saturday, so I like to kind of pick and choose what I'm going to talk about. Oh boy, I'm going to talk about it when I do my my wrap up of the spring season. That'll be when am I going to do that? The 30th? Yeah, I believe June 30th will be a live Pat Bear's Anime Club. My Wednesday stream will be me talking about what I liked and what I didn't like from the season. But yeah, 7 Nights Hero Succession, where I think that's what it's called. 7 Nights Revolution Hero Succession. I had guessed that the main character had amnesia, and I was wrong. I thought I was wrong, but now also maybe there is memories that are been taken away from him. But I was like, something's off with the main character because either they just did a terrible job of having this main character have any interesting things happening to them, or they're hiding something. There's a big reveal coming because they had let it out of the bag pretty early that like a character that definitely seemed shady was shady. But yeah, there's a big obvious reveal. And now there's a twist coming, and it's just a bad show. I thought the art looked cool, and I liked the main guy. Like he had like a gun arm basically, but also like a crossbolt arm, a harpoon arm, and I was like, that's just kind of neat. It's like cool art, and I do think the art is pretty great. But yeah, there's a lot of like, oh, the real villain all along was the character that was clearly the villain all along. Huh. Like, There's the belief that the original librarian who helps decide stuff was evil. And they're like, okay, cool. So you're never going to once maybe think that maybe that's not true? The person that's telling you this seems shady. You don't ever consider they might be shady? And it's like, hindsight, sure. And they got to tell a story, so whatever. But like, ugh. All right, I'm going to attach this stuff here. getting our leg together, working on a leg as we kind of finish up the stream. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to tell you about? Anything else? I stayed up real late last night. Ooh, I put this piece on wrong. So I got to take this apart. Yeah, no good reason why I stayed up late last night. I just did. I mean, partially is because I'm home alone right now, and I just didn't want to go to sleep. I just was like not tired, and it was suddenly very late, and I was just like, oh, I guess I'm staying up really late. But also, I'm not sweating so much in here because I have the door open, so I'm letting cool air in here, which is great. Can't do that most days. Wednesday when I play Hearthstone, won't be able to do that. All right, yeah, so I got to pop this. I put the piece in facing the wrong way, so I got to fix that. I'm glad I noticed this now instead of later. So we'll flop that over, and there we go. Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you my Wednesday stream. I'm playing Hearthstone on Wednesday. I hope you can come out 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be streaming on Wednesday, playing some Hearthstone. We had a new mini expansion come out last week. Hey, welcome, Lennon Trans fan. Happy to have you here. Welcome to the old Build with Bear workshop. Yeah, so my next stream will be on Wednesday. I'm playing Hearthstone because the mini set came out last week. I've got a deck that is... I'm trying to build some decks around the new cards, but a lot of the new cards aren't my, like, they don't benefit the style of deck I like to play. I did find one. I found a hunter deck because there's a new card. There's a 0-cost card that gives one of your beast poison. And so you would want to build a rush deck around that. Well, I built a partial rush deck around that that also involves a card that does 1 damage to everyone at the end of your turn. So it is a board clear effect. And with poison, that'll just wipe out the whole board, which is a fun little mechanic. But yeah, so I built a new hunter deck, which is the archetypes I enjoy about hunter. So that's pretty fun. I got more to do. Trying to look for more fun decks. There's a lot of, like, I don't want to play. There's a really weird OTK that I don't want to do. There's a cool OTK that I'm interested in, but like I don't have like a Mechathune, so I'm not going to play a Mechathune one. And but I want to play this one deck because they're going to nerf the card because that's just nonsense. But also maybe they won't nerf it because people will eventually stop playing it. People will make decks that will beat it. But anyway, oh, I don't know if Zanao, if I said thank you. Thank you very much, Zanao, for the follow. I don't know if I said that, but thank you. Weren't you in an episode of Comedy Central Show as a clerk? Super random question, I know, but I feel like I remember seeing you on TV at one point. You did see me as a clerk in one episode of Broad City. I am a Whole Foods, the Whole Foods Gowanus, which is a real Whole Foods. I play a clerk there in one episode. Yeah, so you did see me do that. I was on television. Yeah, very briefly in that episode. That episode had a bunch of people I know, and it was very fun to do. A long time before they had a TV show, when they were a web series, I was briefly in that in a couple episodes. I did a couple bits of business for them, which was very nice. And so one thing that fucking kicks ass about those lovely ladies was they had a list of people who, like, basically if they liked you, if you'd done stuff in their in the web series and they thought you were fun, they tried to get you in the show at some point. So sometimes that was background, sometimes that was doing character bits. I auditioned for several things for that show before I got that, and I was very happy to get it because it was a fun little bit. It's not funny. It's not a funny bit. It's funny because she's hallucinating a giant character, but I don't see that because I'm not also hallucinating. They let me play around with a couple like goofs. One of which I was hoping was going to get in. Like, they didn't have time for me to like improv, but anytime that an improviser was on set, like in a scene, they would allow the improviser to like try a few things because, you know, maybe they're going to get something good. But that was a pretty tight run show, so they didn't really have a lot of room for that. I don't know. I had one bit of business in there where I was like, "Hey, I'm not supposed to ask this, but why'd you buy all this stuff? What are you? Where are you going? What are you doing?" Which is a thing that I have been asked before, um, where where somebody on occasion, sometimes you just buy stuff. You just buy like weird things, and you're not thinking about it. Once I was asked at a grocery store, I was like, "Hey, why are you buying all this chocolate?" I was buying a lot of very inexpensive chocolate syrup, like huge containers of inexpensive chocolate syrup, because I was making fake blood for a stage production. Uh, and the guy, so I said like, "Oh, I'm making a huge batch of fake blood for a Halloween show," and the guy was like, "Oh, okay. Hey, I'm not. If anybody asked, I didn't ask you that, okay? Because I'm not supposed to ask people why they're buying stuff, but I just had to know." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I get that." So that always stuck in my head. So I did ask, like, "Hey, I'm not," because she buys weird stuff because she is hallucinating on medication, uh, from a dental thing, if I remember correctly. Uh, but she is, yeah, she's freaking out. So I added that. Then did not make the show, which is a shame, but it was fun. But yeah, I was thrilled to be able to do that, uh, and do a little business on the show. All right, so that's 25, and then 24. I will say, folks, clear components are great, but the numbers are hard to read on clear sections of plastic. So I'm like shining this under the light here to try to find what I need to make sure I'm getting exactly the right pieces, because I don't want to get the wrong ones. But yeah, I love a good clear piece of plastic. I think these look fantastic. That rhymed, and it was not my intention. I did not need to say plastic and fantastic. I think these look neat. These are cool. They add a lovely effect. Big fan of that, but it is sometimes hard to get these pieces out. We don't have much time left here on the stream. We're gonna get a little more of this leg done. We got a lot done here. Yes, that was fantastic. We had already done the chest and the head last stream, but we did all the arms here. We finished the shoulder pieces up. We did the feet. We're making good progress. Do I think we're gonna finish this up on Thursday? I don't think we're gonna finish this on Thursday. We might, because also you can see in the photo, we got the backpack is full of giant tubes that turn into weapons. So I definitely think we will finish this on Saturday is my guess. I don't think we're going to finish this up on Thursday. But that's okay, because I'm having a good time building this. But yeah, we're going to call it there. My next build stream is going to be on Thursday. We are going to raid, so feel free to hang out. We're going to go on a raid and share some love and go visit some people. So feel free to come on that raid if you want. You're under no obligation, but if you want to come on the raid, we are going to go raid and hang out. But I will say this. Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, playing Hearthstone. Come hang out. I got some new decks. It'll be silly and fun. Haven't played Hearthstone on stream in a bit, so come check that out. And then on Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, I will return to playing this, and I hope you come, or building, and I hope you come hang out for that. I will answer this here from Lennon. Now that Vinny, Alex, and Brad have their new thing next later, maybe you could build stuff on stream. Look, I had the occasion in the past. Dan Reichert during during one of their streaming for charity. Dan and I worked on kits together, which was really fun. I built model kits with Austin for a charity event. I'm always open to doing that. I always wanted to do some stuff while Vinny is doing that, and I have not. I don't believe I've kept that a secret. I think I've been pretty open about that being a thing I would love to do. Who knows? But also, like, an opportunity to work with three great people. Sir, I'm not going to turn that down. You know, if they want to do something with me, I'd be up for it. They're all great. Speaking of great, we have not rated her in a hot minute. We're going to go hang out with Mary Kish. Mary is currently playing Mass Effect. Mass Effect, her first playthrough. This is her very first time playing through Mass Effect. And so we're gonna go give her a raid because Mary Kish rules, and her community is fantastic. So we'll go hang out with Mary as she plays some Mass Effect. Thanks so much for being here, everybody that came in. If you're new to the stream, make sure you give me a follow and you come check me out again. If you've been here, if you're a 2 years, 3 years stream, you've been here since day one. I appreciate you and I thank you for being here. I hope you'll come on this raid because it's going to be a good time. And if not, well, then I just hope you have a great rest of your night and hope to see you on another stream. Thanks for being here. Have a great one. I'll see you on Wednesday. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.